Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tommy, for the great introduction. And thank you for visiting us as well. And thank you all for being here today. And today I'm stepping on big shoes because Dr. Ali is our founder. He's, if you can't disconnect his name from the Hirola antelope. And I'm happy to represent him in this expo. And thank you so much for having me. So I want to take you to Eastern Kenya, where we work with communities to save the world's most critically endangered antelope, and probably the world's most rarest antelope. If you know about this antelope, you'll probably go to heaven. And we just not work to save the Hirola antelope, we work to save the reticulated giraffe and other magnificent species that occur in our region, and they've shown resilience for all these years, even with the neglect that they've been through, and they've persisted in this region. And we were so excited when we got the news that we'll be participating in this year's Expo. And we thought, with the topic that we are given, resilience in conservation, what does it mean to us? What does it mean to us? So resilience to us is getting this Hirola calf that is sitting here with our ranger to grow into a fully fledged Hirola adult, and maybe probably have children of its own in the future, just like every other human wants to have that kind of life. And basically just this species having a future in its own habitat and fighting for its space. And so we work in Kenya. So our partners are more to the west. That is the Ewasa Lions, the Gravy Zebra Trust, and Save the Elephants. And we work in the east, marked in red. That is Garissa County, Wajir, and Mandera. And this place, despite being little known for conservation, we still host the highest population of reticulated giraffes. And unfortunately for Hirola, it's a different story. We just have only less than 500 of them that are left in the wild. And so this region has been experiencing a spillover of conflict from Somalia. As you can see, we border Somalia, and we've had political conflict in Somalia, and it has really had a spillover effect in our region. And currently, we host over 400,000 refugees from Somalia. And so the conflict has not only displaced just humans, it has displaced wildlife. And a case in example is this magnificent creature that you all know. Everyone knows all about the elephant. So the elephant used to roam this region, and unfortunately they were wiped out. And this came with very negative impacts. So from the green, you see, those were the three species that used to be in the 1985, but by 2012, they were spread all over the landscape. And that means all the grass disappeared, because these magnificent ecosystem engineers who maintained grasslands for species such as the Hirola disappeared. And without elephants, other species cannot really live there. And the poaching that happened for these elephants to be wiped out is still ongoing. And even now they're targeting other mega herbivores, such as giraffes. You see this giraffe with a snare wire, and sometimes they use such cruel methods to take these animals out. And we're not only just grappling with these human-induced issues and problems and just anthropogenic impacts on wildlife. We're also experiencing a climate crisis where we are seeing a lot of drought in this region. And we have this cycle where 1 minute it's dry, all the rivers are dry, all the dams are dry, and the next minute it's floods. So farmers, for herders who are running away from keeping cattle to escape the drought, they start farming around the river, and then all of a sudden it's flooding. And now it's a dilemma for them, because you herd your cattle, there's floods. You come to the farm, there's flooding. And this is, as Tommy mentioned, they came with Peter to visit us. This is Peter after a long day with us in the field. I'm not sure if he still wants to come back. I don't know, maybe Tommy will let me know, but we had a long day pushing the car basically all over the place. I wanted to show them Hirolas, we couldn't get there, but at least they saw some giraffes. So they were a bit lucky. And so it's been quite a journey for us because this region is little known for conservation. We have national reserves that were established during those days, such as the Arawale National Reserve, but it only lasted 10 years. So Arawale was named after the Hirola, because in Somali it's called Araula. But it collapsed, and from 1982 to 2012, that is a 30-year gap. And that basically means no Gen Z or a millennial has ever experienced formal conservation in our region until HCP came in, and our founder, Dr. Ali, after completing his PhD, formed the Hirola Conservation Program. And later, when the reticulated giraffe was declared endangered, we formed the Somali Giraffe Project to come in and help the giraffes as well. And so, to cover the 30-year gap that I've shown you, we have been working with elders who remember the good old days, how conservation used to look like in the region. So we've been working with these elders like Yusuf and Kansoy. They show us how the land used to look like. The science tells us, but we need them to confirm, because we also need their knowledge. And combining their knowledge and science is when we come up with very participatory solutions for wildlife. So through their help, we've been able to attend a lot of meetings like this, where we were able to form community protected areas for Hirola and giraffes. And so right now, wildlife at least have a sense of hope, because right now there is space for them now to exist, because they just need the space. And sometimes they need the space, then they'll do the rest. And we also, despite engaging the elders, we are also engaging the young kids who we host them at our camp. We are trying to cover this 30-year gap, and we're also trying to make sure there are no gaps in the future. So you have to train these kids and tell them that this wildlife needs them in the future. And so from engaging these communities, we get rangers. And our rangers are a special breed of men and women who put their lives at risk for wildlife, and they're the first line of our community protection efforts. And for our rangers, what they do is protection without aggression. And basically what that means is they're the darlings of the community. We endear them to the community. They're not really armed. In a world where there has been a lot of violence, they're trying to use a different approach where they can win the community over without just being there and being tough on them. And so we also work very hard to empower these rangers for the important work that they do. This is one of my rangers, and he's clearly suffocated in paperwork in the field. And so, due to insecurity, our field visits are basically just limited to, some areas are just limited to opportunistic field visits. And we need him to collect data as fast as possible. So what we do is we have this centralized database system that we host on Earth Ranger, and they're able to just carry either their phone or a handheld GPS device instead of the paperwork, and they relay data to us in real time. And that is all the data: Hirola sightings, farmers giraffe conflict, poaching incidents, all of that. And to supplement their work, we're also tagging giraffes, and we previously tagged Hirola as well. And we are able to monitor these species, and where they monitor themselves, basically, when you put this sort of like a wristwatch on them, and they're able to take you places that you can't go, but you're able to monitor them in areas where you yourself can't roam, but them themselves can go. So this is really instrumental in covering some of the gaps that is within our rangers' work. And just for the climate crisis, to create resilience, during dry seasons, we have this strategic placed water ponds that we dig, that we allow both livestock and giraffes to come and water here, and they are able to at least survive the long droughts. And for the last 1 decade, the farmers-giraffe conflict along the rivers in our area has been really pronounced, and we are trying to come up with a toolbox, a giraffe-farmers coexistence toolbox, to just get them to coexist. And we are trying to test these new methods to deter farmers-giraffe conflict and to deter giraffes out of the farm. So we are using such scarecrows that are simple and cost-effective, and solar lamps that are very cost-effective as well, and they deter giraffes without harming them. And also, just because we can't provide monetary compensations for giraffes, we do lime compensation, where we are growing lime seedlings in our camp and distributing it to farmers. And this is sort of compensation when giraffes raid their crops. That is primarily mango flowers that are raided in their farms. And surprisingly, these mangoes, we are seeing that they are not making them much money as compared to what they get from the sales they get from the lime we give them. And this is, for example, a monthly sales that we were comparing. And the monthly sales are so high as compared to mangoes. And the good thing with lime, giraffes don't feed on them, and they make a lot of money. So it's a win for everyone. And also, as we are trying to reverse the tree encroachment, since we just had to be elephants ourselves and get rid of the trees, so when we cut these invasive trees, we end up with these wood chips that now we want to utilize them just to create resilience within the community and give them a sense of livelihood. And they turn it into charcoal and briquettes using these modern furnaces. And this takes it takes little time compared to how they would prepare it using a traditional method of preparing charcoal. Then with this kind of system, they can't cut down indigenous trees. They just cut the invasive trees and let the indigenous trees to prosper. Because when it's uncontrolled, they'll go for the best indigenous trees, and we end up with more invasive trees. And so today, as we admitted as new partners with the WCN, we are so grateful because this gives a sense of hope to the species that we work so hard to conserve in a very tough region. And what we've learned over the years, to create resilience, you need to go together. Like even, for example, in our team, Dr. Ali couldn't be here, but we are here. And even us, when communities are empowered, everyone plays his role very well. So we are asking you to join us as well and be in this togetherness to save this species. As you heard, the Hirola is just less than 500 left in the wild. And it's a really critical moment for us to come together and save this species. With your support, it means more rangers are out there in the field. With your support, it means that Hirolas get their basic food, which is grass. With your support, it means that giraffes are more protected from the bushmeat trade along the border. And with your support, it means that all these species are able to coexist with farmers and herders at the same time. And everyone minds his business in the landscape, and everyone just gets to enjoy the landscape. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here today.